Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, August 11th, 2019. Don't these people know that Adam always wins eventually? Adam has got Nick lured into a corner with Christian. He's got Chelsea stuck in a bind with Connor. And he's got Sharon in the sack. Adam always wins, no matter what route you take. Whether you decide to try to be his enemy or you decide to try to be his friend, Chelsea and Nick both took the same route. Right away, they positioned himself as being Adam's enemy. They declared themselves allies with each other in the war against Adam. But Nick and Chelsea have two totally different issues. Connor actually remembers Adam. He knows that Adam is his father. There was no reason really to keep Adam and Connor apart. Chelsea should have reintroduced them weeks ago. She had a child with this man. She should have accepted that responsibility and told Connor right away when she found out that Adam was still alive. She should have rebonded them immediately. Chelsea's relationship with Adam is totally independent from Adam's relationship with his own son. But on the other hand, Christian only knows one father, and that's Nick. So one scene of showing Adam and Christian kicking around a soccer ball 3 times does not a father make. Oh, but we saw a 25-year-old flashback of Victor kicking around a soccer ball with a young Adam. No, that is not good enough. And I said it last week, but the fact that Adam used his very first meeting with Christian as an opportunity to stand there and tell this poor confused little boy that he's his real daddy, that just solidified it for me. There's no way that I can ever root for Adam to have custody of Christian. If Adam is gonna tell Christian that he's his real daddy, then why not tell him the whole truth? If we're gonna stand here on the hill of Christian deserves to know the truth about his real father, then why not tell Christian everything? Tell him about how Adam switched the paternity test results to make it look like he wasn't Christian's real daddy. If we're gonna do transparency, then I want complete transparency. That park scene between Adam and Christian was one of the most awkward things that I've ever seen. They kicked around the ball 3 times in an awkward silence, and then Adam just pulls Christian in and says, "I'm your real daddy," which is then followed by an immediate warm embrace between the two. Wow! A warm embrace on the very first time they're ever even alone together. Well, of course, Nick walks up, sees the whole thing, shuffles Christian off to the coffee house for a lemonade and a very, very messy chocolate chip cookie. That cookie was all over Christian's face. It was the most realistic thing that I've seen on Y&R in ages. I wanted to give that kid a wipe. Nick talks to Christian, makes sure he's okay. It seemed like Christian shrugged it off. Like, I guess you would have to. I guess you would have to, as a coping mechanism, just pretend that it was crazy old Uncle Adam spouting off whatever. Back at the park, though, Nick and Adam started to argue about what Nick just saw Adam do. The two guys start mouthing off at each other, and Adam seems to be intentionally escalating it, intentionally baiting Nick into hitting him, because that's what Nick does, and that's what Nick did. Decks Adam right in the middle of a public park. It was such a Nick thing to do, and Adam knew it, and who should just so happen to wander up into the middle of the whole thing? Sharon. Adam had texted Sharon with suspiciously the most perfect timing so that she would walk in and see the whole thing. Nick looks like the bad guy for punching Adam, and Adam gets his wounds dressed by Sharon and then gets Sharon undressed. Wow! Bravo! Mission accomplished, Y&R. They have done the thing that they so clearly wanted to do from the moment that Adam reappeared in Las Vegas, needing Sharon to bring him back to Genoa City. Adam and Sharon have officially ripped each other's clothes off and went to town. I knew it was gonna happen from the minute that I saw Sharon walk into the scene wearing a wrap dress. Little soap opera tip for all of us from a veteran viewer to keep an eye out for. Anytime you see a woman wearing one of those wrap dresses, it means that a sex scene is coming, because those dresses are so easy to whip off. All you do is untie it or unbuckle it, as it were, and then flip it off, and then boom, you're there. You're there in the middle of a juicy, hot sex scene. And boy, did Sharon's dress whip off real quickly. It was almost like Sharon's dress had a mind, a will, a hope, and a wish of its own. That dress flew off so fast. I mean, Nick made Adam bleed. Nick made Adam's face all bloody and sad looking. Sharon had to sleep with him after that. Am I right? Adam played Sharon perfectly. Let me just recount for you some of the things that he said to her just prior to them sleeping together. He tells her, I dragged you into this, Sharon. You have literally got my blood on your hands. You have rescued me, and it's just not fair that I'm always leaning on you every time I need someone. I think you should go. You should just go. I don't want to put you into the middle of all of this. You're too important to me, Sharon. I need you. I mean, that is literally what he said. Come on. She wasn't gonna resist that. How was she supposed to resist that? It was designed for her. Adam was setting up like 5 or 6 fishing poles in the water, and Sharon was gonna swim along and take one of those baits sooner or later. I guess Ray's bait just wasn't big enough for Sharon. Because as soon as Adam can literally peel himself and his body off of Sharon's body. He shuffles downstairs secretly and he calls the cops on Nick. He files an assault charge. And now Ray was more than happy to be the officer to take that report. So he goes over to Adam's penthouse. They're talking with the door open. Adam doesn't let Ray into the place. They're just talking through the open door when Sharon bounces down the stairs saying, "Oh, Adam, do you got any food around here? I am absolutely starving. I burned so many calories having sex with you just now. Do you have any like granola or something that I could munch on?" Ray is standing right there like, what? He knew it. He knew it was coming. That's why he got out. And I want to say, poor Ray right here. This is where I want to go, oh, poor Ray. But really, I think that Ray has come out on top of all of this. He got away from his crazy ex-wife, Mia, through the relationship with Sharon that helped get him out of that crazy relationship. And then just that wake-up call with Adam helped get him away from his other crazy ex, Sharon. And as a viewer, I feel like this has made me like Ray even more. Just seeing him get dogged by Adam and Sharon has made me like him more. The bad thing was that Billy had just talked to Ray and told Ray that Sharon was still pining over him. So I think that made seeing Adam and Sharon together sting just a little bit more. And the second that that door closed, Ray left and Adam and Sharon were alone. Sharon started spinning out. She started blaming everybody else for what she just did. She told Adam that thanks a lot, Adam. You just set my world on fire. Yeah, but that's got nothing to do with Ray. Let Ray go, okay? Don't you even dare think about Ray for one more second, Sharon. You lost him. You slept with another man 2 days after you guys broke up. You deserved to lose Ray. And I don't know, maybe Adam and Sharon deserve each other. Let's do a poll, okay? Y&R Chatters, let's get the hardcore numbers on Adam and Sharon. Like, I need to see the black and whites on this. Are you feeling like Sharon and Adam are a yes, yes, yes? Or are they a no, no, no? YRChat.com is the website where you can vote in that poll. And at this point, I don't know, maybe Adam and Sharon are the match. They do have the hot and naughty factor. I'm not denying that there's a sexual chemistry with Adam and Sharon that is very, very, very hot. But I think I'm gonna vote no, 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 because I need more than just hot sex. I mean, that's great for like once, twice, maybe 3 times. But these writers are terrible at developing anything more substantial. Adam and Sharon sure as hell were not written by Y&R in the past as forever soulmates, and yet Adam's standing there trying to sell it to Sharon in the aftermath of them sleeping together as if they were soulmates, trying to sell it to us, the audience, as if they were always soulmates. And that just, I mean, knowing that that's not true and that that's not what the backstory was, it just makes everything that Adam says to Sharon seem untrue. And it makes me think that he's manipulating her, at least on some level. Telling her, I want you, Sharon. I've always wanted you, Sharon. There's nobody else for me but you. Really though? Because you wanted nobody else but Chelsea for the better part of a decade. And even when he first came back to Genoa City, he was trying to get Chelsea back. He was trying to make phone calls to Chelsea. He's begged Chelsea, even within the past couple of months, to come back to him. So it doesn't feel true. It doesn't feel like I can trust it, and I don't want to see Sharon get hurt and dogged again. I can't buy the fact that Adam was secretly pining for Sharon the entire time he was with Chelsea, and there was absolutely no indication of that. It's just not clicking for me from a writing perspective. From a chemistry perspective, sure. These two actors are great. But from the writing perspective, I just don't know. And now we're setting up Sharon backing out of the deal. Sharon had instant buyer's remorse. She starts throwing up resistance to Adam immediately, telling him to stay away from her, just like she has said many other times, and she still came crawling to him, saying, stay away from me, Adam, and stop talking crazy about us being in a relationship. She's better off without him. She only slept with him in the first place because she felt sorry for him. Yeah, she said that. She only slept with him because she felt sorry for him. Well, that's a laugh. That is a real hoot right there, Sharon. I don't know. Either Y&R has decided to totally rewrite history without letting us know, and we're just supposed to accept it. Adam and Sharon forever, apparently. Or Sharon is getting pretty heavily manipulated by Adam right now. Adam did not intend for Ray to walk in and see them together. Absolutely not. But Adam did intend for Sharon to be a witness to what happened in the park. Wasn't that convenient? I guess it just worked out in his favor that she was willing to sleep with him too. And now Sharon is even more in the middle. She put herself there though. She put herself right into the middle. Adam just helped it along, but he did use her to create a witness. And you know that Sharon is gonna now be backpedaling. She's going to be seeing Adam, bonding with Connor, and she's going to be pushing him away even further. This is going to create a whole head trip for Sharon. She's probably even going to be, she's going to be seeing Adam and Connor, and she's probably going to be encouraging Adam now to get back together with Chelsea, and we're supposed to go, no, Adam, don't get back together with Chelsea. Be with Sharon now. They're like gonna be star-crossed lovers. But it just doesn't feel like that to me. I don't know. I'm not really buying Sharon and Adam. And I don't think that Adam and Chelsea are gonna get back together anytime soon. Chelsea did let Adam see Connor this week, but it was because she realized that it was unfair to Connor to keep them apart. It was not because she had some magic turnaround on Adam. So here's the rub. Now it's clear that Adam and Connor have a whole lot of catching up to do. I mean, Adam and his son want to be together. And that part I'm on board for. I mean, again, Chelsea had a child with this man. She needs to accept it and help facilitate their relationship. Plus, could Y&R have even found a more perfectly cast kid for Connor, for new Connor? He looks just like Adam. This child actor looks like he could actually be Mark Grossman's real life son. And I did find their scenes together to be touching because it was true to the backstory of the relationship that Adam and Connor had. Connor is going to be begging to stay with Adam, not just for one night, but for many, many nights. And Chelsea is not going to want to disappoint her son or leave him alone with Adam. So she's going to be stuck right in the middle, spending a whole bunch of time with Adam and Connor. And then you add Anita into the equation. What is up with Anita? Is she dying or something? Chelsea offered her $1 million of her inheritance money, and Anita said that she just didn't want it. She wants to just focus on being a good mom and a good grandmom. Yeah, she's dying. That's the only excuse I can think for it. She's probably got some rare blood disease like Victor's. I don't know if that was just a one-time shot of us seeing Anita or if we're going to see more of her, but I feel like she was encouraging Chelsea to be with Adam and to let Adam into her life. And then you factor Nick into this whole equation, who's going to hate Chelsea being anywhere near Adam, let alone staying in Adam's house. But yet Nick doesn't want to see Chelsea running away again. So what happens, let me ask you, when Ray gets around to making an arrest in Adam's assault case, and the only thing that will save Nick from going to jail is if Adam decides to drop the assault charges, and the only way that Adam will drop the assault charges is if someone gives him what he wants, which he will always get eventually anyway, so you might as well just go with it. Nick is not going to be giving up custody of Christian or giving in on the custody issue in order to save himself from going to jail. He would give up Christian, I think, over his dead body. But Chelsea might just agree now to go live with Adam to stop Adam from sending Nick, her real love, to jail. I mean, she already said a week or two ago that she regretted not taking Adam's offer to do that right before Christian's custody case. I mean, we all know, as Adam has even said, that Adam would drop anything having to do with Christian and Nick like a hot potato if he could get his hands back on his real family, his preferred family, the family that he really loves, Chelsea and Connor. Oh wait, no, I forgot. Sharon is the love of Adam's life, though. No, I'm just gonna have to keep reminding myself of that. It was Sharon all along. Billy confronts Adam about finding Delia's doll in between his sheets at the end of last week. And Adam had absolutely no idea what Billy was talking about. So Billy even follows up with Chelsea and asks Chelsea if there's any chance that Adam could have been behind that. But Chelsea defends Adam on this and only this. She says, no way, it's not Adam. I know him and I don't think a whole lot of him right now, but I know he wouldn't do that. And I agree. So, in an effort to get to the bottom of this problem, Billy decides to get smart. Billy is an insomniac suffering from insomnia and delusions, and he decides to go to Crimson Lights. This is a great idea. Wait for it. Go to Crimson Lights, order the biggest coffee that they can serve him, and then he goes to the Chancellor Mansion and waits for a sign from Delia. Ooh. Oh yeah. He paces around for about six scenes at the Chancellor Mansion. Oh, it was a real nail biter of a day. Let me tell you, if you didn't see it. Eventually, so exhausted, Billy falls asleep, and he has a dream, another dream, that the writing on the wall has changed again. Now it says, "Stop Adam now." Ooh, it was "Stop Adam," but now it's "Stop Adam now." We have some urgency about it. This needs to happen now. And then Billy wakes up and he sees that the writing is actually there in reality, and he says out loud that he has received Delia's message loud and clear. We get the sense that he knows what he has to do now. But rather than doing anything now, he decides to take a little break, and he goes to the Genoa City Public Library and he picks up a couple of books on communicating with ghosts. And then he has another follow-up meeting with Sharon and tells Sharon all about it, about these supernatural things that he believes is happening to him. The look that Sharon gave him, I screen capped it when he started talking about the supernatural stuff. I mean, when Sharon is looking at you like you're crazy, you've got problems. Oh, well, I can see the writing on the wall. Can you see the writing on the wall? It's clear as day to me. Sharon is now seeing how unhinged Billy has become. I'm sure she is going to make a great witness at the trial when Billy is accused of attempting to murder Adam. And also, this week, Billy conveniently bumped into Ray, a cop who saw how out of it Billy was. My question is, if Billy came out of that dream at the Chancellor Mansion, seeming completely clear about what it is he needs to do, stop Adam now, then why didn't he just do it? Why are we dragging it out? Why did Billy decide to take a sidestep to go get a library card and read up on communicating with ghosts? You already had your communication with ghosts. She told you to stop Adam now. So just get to it, Y&R. We can all see the writing on the wall. It's not just Billy. And if you're going to force us to go there, then at least get us there quick. I am so disgruntled about this storyline, but it is too... Ugh. It's too dark. Can you even believe that Y&R had Billy hearing Delia's voice twice this week saying, "I'm cold, Daddy. Daddy, I'm cold." This is not a horror film. This is not a horror show. That is darker than dark. Phyllis offers Adam $10 million for the Grand Phoenix Hotel, and he agrees if she can come up with the money in cash, which she can't. So she runs around town so hard this week trying to find an investor, and everyone turns her down. Devon, Nick, even Nikki, which I think is a complete shame, because now that I think about it, if anyone in this town should own a hotel, it's Nikki. She needs to be and could be a great new grand dame of Genoa City. It would be perfect for her to be running this hotel and making everyone comfortable and hosting parties at the place. I mean, it would be perfect, especially considering her very colorful past. She needs to be a madame. I would love that. You know, speaking of the past, whatever happened to the relationship that Y&R was teasing between Jack and Lauren? Because if that were ever to happen, and let's say that Michael becomes single again, forgive me for this, because Michael and Lauren are my favorite couple, but also Michael and Phyllis would be a really hot couple. I know, it's blasphemy. Just forget I even said it. I feel guilty for even thinking it, but I do remember them being together a little bit years and years ago, but it was never developed into anything like a relationship. It was just sex, I believe. But it's just that there's so many little moments where the two actors have such chemistry, Michael and Phyllis. Like Phyllis runs into Michael at Adam's penthouse. And Michael's there to help Adam get his visitation with Christian, and Phyllis is there to ask for money. Only the two of them don't know why they're both making that visit to Adam, and they've had a couple of run-ins like this lately. I don't know if it's going to be developed and how it's going to be developed. Phyllis seems really, really curious about what Michael is up to. I loved the way she had her eye on him. Even as the elevator doors were closing, she was like, you know, giving him the eye, like, what are you up to, Michael? It was just so great. Like, it was such a non-verbal, amazing chemistry between those two actors, and I'm just wondering if Phyllis is gonna have any kind of circle back to Michael. Is she gonna accidentally or on purpose spill it to Lauren about Michael's connection to Adam? By the way, where is Lauren? I am also kind of digging the chemistry that's going on between Phyllis and Theo. Is something more going on there? I mean, we do have a lot of the older woman, younger man dynamic right now that fans are clamoring for. You know what's going to happen? A month from now, Y&R will probably take Phyllis and Theo to the edge. They'll put Theo right into Phyllis's penthouse suite on opening night of the Grand Phoenix Hotel, and then they'll pull everything back and tell Phyllis that she just wants to be just friends with Theo. That's what'll happen. I have no faith in any relationships that I find interesting actually coming to fruition anymore. Well, early in the week, delusional Theo offers to throw Kyle a bachelor party, and Kyle looks at him like, what part of "you're dead to me" did you not understand last week when we had that run-in? I mean, really? Is Theo clueless or what? Theo is acting more like Kyle's jilted ex than Summer is. I don't get it. But by the way, Theo and Phyllis are not only sharing their grand vision for the Grand Phoenix Hotel, but they also share a disdain for Kyle. And there was a little scene where Phyllis and Theo were dissing on Kyle. And even Phyllis confronted Kyle and was defending her daughter's honor. The thing that's not clicking with me about that is that Phyllis was acting like Summer was some blameless victim in that whole mess of a relationship and marriage that went down between them. And Phyllis didn't really seem to like Theo being with Summer either. Well, after Kyle tells Theo that he could just forget about planning any kind of party, Kyle wouldn't want to be at any kind of party that Theo would ever throw anyway, Mariah picks up the slack, and she actually plans a really cool double bachelorette party. Can you even believe that she pulled all of that together in just 2 days? all by herself. All of that decor, the drinks, the food, the DJ, the photos, she did it all without the help of any set masters or props people or decorators, just Mariah. Pretty darn good if you ask me. I mean, the place looked great. Tessa also put together that little slideshow of old pictures of Kyle and Lola, and Tessa wrote a funny little song. I thought that song was gonna be corny in a bad way, and as soon as she opened her mouth, I was like, oh no, this is gonna be bad, oh don't do it, this is dumb. But then she totally redeemed it. It was really funny and cute. And I loved it. You know, I loved those old photos. You know, I love that rooftop bar set. So I thought it was great that we actually had it there. I never thought we would see that place again. Every single event that we've had in the past month or two has been at Society. It has been nothing but Society, Society, Society lately. And maybe that's why Abby was so uptight about this party. She just didn't like this party taking place at anywhere other than her restaurant under her supervision. Abby had a chip on her shoulder about that party before it even began. And I don't understand why entirely. It's not like she was planning something of her own for Lola and then Mariah stepped in and Abby had to cancel a bunch of stuff. Abby already planned the bridal shower, and if she had already started planning a bachelorette, Lola would have known about it and she would have called the whole thing off. She would have said no to Mariah's idea. So I don't know why Abby was so cross about the whole thing to start off. But it was really just the precursor to the drama that was to come. I think that the double bachelorette party that Mariah planned gave us double drama. First of all, Mariah invited Sharon and Ray and didn't tell either one of them that the other would be there. She had good intentions, though. She had visions of a grand reunion for Sharon and Ray. But what Mariah didn't know was that Ray had just seen Sharon belting up that wrap dress at Adam's penthouse. So a reunion there was never going to happen, and it shouldn't. But then the real show was all the drama around Summer and Theo. Lola decided to selflessly invite Summer to her party, and Summer brought Theo as her date. Side note, how is Lola so totally mature about everything having to do with Summer? She invited Kyle's his ex-wife in fact, to her bachelorette party, and yet Lola's mom can't even be mature enough to show up. Celeste is still dodging Lola's phone calls. Kyle was going to have to travel to Miami to confront Celeste in person just to get her to answer and convince her to come to the wedding on Lola's behalf. If having her mother at her wedding means so much to her and Celeste should know that, why is she dodging phone calls? Or is there something more going on there? I don't know. Maybe Jack will tell us. Jack offered to take Kyle's place and step in and go to Miami and bring Celeste back for the wedding. I wonder if maybe we're going to end up getting a Jack-Celeste wedding or romance or something after all. Maybe Y&R is just taking forever to get to their stories, not dropping them entirely. I don't know. I mean, we did see Ray and Lola in the previews talking about a letter that their father had written to Lola. Maybe Lola's father is holding Celeste hostage and Jack will go there and save her. He'll rescue her. Oh, anywho, back to the party though, because this was fun. Summer and Theo's presence threw a real bucket of ice water on the fun festivities. Literally. I do love a good cat fight, but I'm sorry, Abby started that fight. Summer and Theo were off in the corner the whole night making snarky snark and snide comments about Kyle and Lola, which was not nice. And Abby overheard it, but rather than letting it go or saying something more casually to Summer and Theo, Abby was ready to go. She was ready to throw down. Abby told Summer, all right, you want to do this? Let's do this. And then Abby pushed Summer when they were arguing. Abby was the first one to get physical. And then Summer pushed Abby back and escalated it by dumping a bucket of ice water on her head. Yay! Not that I want necessarily, I guess Abby deserved it a little, but then I guess I just wanted to see a good fight. I wanted to see Summer get that bucket of water on her head too. I liked the fight. It was fun. It was not the kindest thing to do for either of them at a party celebrating someone else's happiness, but it was entertaining. It was also kind of dumb and weird in a way too, because as Friday's episode was opening up, Abby was standing there drenched in water and she was saying to Summer, "You nasty little cow." What? You nasty little cow? Who on earth wrote that line? Who would ever even say a sentence like that? I think Y&R just had to come up with some other creative expression rather than it being profanity, and somehow they dug into the well and pulled up, "You nasty little cow." I mean, you guys had to have heard that, right? I would have made it the Who Said It quote for the week if I didn't assume that everyone would know. It just clunked into the scene on Friday like a bell ringing around the cow's neck. If anybody was being a nasty cow at that party anyway, it was Theo. Why couldn't Theo have just been kept cool? Why has he gotten so needy and so jealous when it comes to Kyle? Theo grabs the microphone right out of Jack's hands in the middle of Jack making a toast to his son and his future daughter-in-law at their party, and you know how much Jack loves a sentimental toast. For Theo to walk up and grab that mic was so disrespectful. And then Theo stood there in front of everyone talking about the wild old days that he and Kyle had in New York, which would have been appropriate, I suppose, if you were the best man. But Theo knows that Kyle can't stand him, and yet he's oddly trying to save their friendship or insist that they have a friendship. Kyle had to grab the microphone away from him and toss him to the side of the room. Theo starts spouting off about how he's not gonna let Kyle forget their past or treat him like something that Kyle just scraped off the bottom of his shoe. Okay, that part I get. Theo overheard Kyle and Lola talking, and Kyle was being judgmental about him, and I could see Theo being like, "Well, I'm not gonna let you treat me like that." But then there just seemed to be something more to it. Kyle revealed a piece of the puzzle about what happened between them in New York. Apparently, something happened with a 17-year-old girl where she could have died, and Kyle paid off her father to keep it quiet. So it's got to be drugs, right? Kyle already mentioned to Lola a week or two ago that he and Theo used to do designer drugs and lots of women. So basically Theo gave some young girl a drug and she almost OD'd, and Kyle paid hush money to keep it hush. Meh. Meh. Yeah, that big of a deal. It's not that exciting. It's not that, I mean, it's not like, I mean, it happens, I'm sure. It would be bad. I think the only way this is exciting and the only way this works is if Theo gave this girl the drug like a date rape thing. Like he slipped the drug to her. Although unfortunately that completely decimates Theo's character. But that's the only way that there's a little bit of a juicy storyline, because otherwise blaming this whole thing on Kyle and Theo, this whole incident, blaming Kyle and Theo for it would mean completely disregarding the girl's own responsibility in whatever would happen. Like if she was doing drugs with them and OD'd, that's not really their fault. There's not really anything to be said for her being underage because she's 17. I mean, there's no underage when it comes to illegal drugs. It's all illegal and everyone's wrong for doing it. And I remember being 17 and there wasn't anyone who could tell me anything. I already knew it all. So the only place that there could be a story there would be if Theo slipped her something, and then it's really icky that Kyle would have covered up for Theo doing something rapey like that. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's the direction, but it's just my prediction. I think the real question is, what is Lola gonna think when she finds out all about this? Is she gonna see Kyle differently? See him using his money to cover something up, which is a problem that they've already had between them, the way Kyle uses money? Is Lola gonna, be unable to move forward? Is she gonna call off the wedding? I think so. I think this is all building to a call off of the wedding, and I think that that's why Y&R made sure to show Lola being so cool about the fight that erupted at the double Bachelor-Bachelorette party. Like, Y&R's trying to show us, hey, Lola's not uptight about everything, but she is about to be uptight about this. Especially if Summer ends up hurt by Theo in the coming weeks and Kyle did nothing to prevent it. If Kyle knew that Theo was predatory and Summer's involved with him, and if something happens to Summer, I mean, Lola's got this whole affection for Summer for saving her life, and if Kyle did nothing to prevent something bad happening to Summer, that could really be a problem. That would be two women that Kyle knew about that would have fallen prey to Theo's bad boy ways. And I think that's exactly where they're going. We've already seen that turn in Theo's character. He's no longer cool. He's bad. Jack again warned Summer on Friday against getting involved with Theo, but she doesn't hear it at all. She's thrown all caution to the wind. It has not stopped her at all, especially not from having trapped in an elevator sex with Theo right after the party. Is anyone else alarmed that the elevators in this town are not being routinely checked for safety? These elevators seem to break down a lot. They break down when there are two lovers in one. They break down when there are two enemies in one. Where are the elevator safety inspectors, I ask you? And why aren't the building owners performing their routine maintenance? I wonder if Nate and Elena will be caught in an elevator together on the way out to the car. It is the surefire way to unite two people who need a little bit of a boost. The old trapped in an elevator. It never gets old. Elena was coaching Nate at the party on how to play a little bit of hard to get with Abby, because Abby has been giving Nate less than he wants from her. So Elena encourages Nate to make himself a little less available to Abby. I think that's a good way to get Abby's attention. Honestly, I thought it was good advice. It shows Abby that Nate is a hot commodity and she might want to get him while she can get him. I mean, I think that Nate needs to be playing it way cooler than he is. He needs to let Abby come to him at her own pace. I just wonder if Nate and Elena are going to find themselves having more in common at this point in their lives. Especially what's going on with her job. But Elena would be a fool to leave Devon. Devon was so freaking cute at that Bachelorette party. I loved seeing him in his relaxed clothing. I never thought about it before, but pretty much every time we see Devon, he's in some kind of a dress shirt, or he's always dressed very stiffly. And so it was nice just seeing him in a V-neck and some shorts, kicking it on the dance floor. OMG. That dance floor scene was probably one of my favorite moments of the week, where they're all doing like the lawnmower move and the sprinkler move. It was so cute. It gave me an absolute true smile. There was a total wave of joy that went over me just seeing 4 people dancing on the dance floor and being themselves and having fun. That's all I needed for the week. See, I'm really very easy to please. Listen, I know that I am being a grumpy old Y&R fan right now, and I don't just want to be critical of the show without offering some suggestions for how it could be improved. So this week, I decided to make a list of some things that I would like to see for the show, some directions that I would take the show if I was in charge. And I thought that I would just share those with you. Maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll disagree, maybe you can share some of your ideas for switching things up on Y&R. So first off, if I am all of a sudden in charge of Y&R writing, the number one first thing I'm gonna do is fix Adam. Thank you so very much, Josh Griffith, for bringing Adam back onto our screens. We've been asking for that for so very long, but we need to tweak him. He needs humility, he needs humanity, and the audience needs to like him before they can love him. And we need to love him before we can want to make love to him. Yes, the actor's very attractive. There is just a physical sensation of hotness when he and Sharon were together. But if you want me to sleep with him long term, if you want me to want him long term, then you're gonna have to give me a little bit more. You're gonna have to give me some more substance. And frankly though, I think when we're talking about fixing Adam, I think we just need to focus on his relationship with Victor. That's where the story is. And his relationship with Connor. No women. I don't want Adam with any women right now until we get a sense of who this new guy is, because he's not old Adam. This is a totally new Adam, and if it's going to be approached as a new Adam, then we need to get into his backstory and talk about who he is and why he is who he is, and not just show a little flashback of a soccer ball. I mean, I can't. That's one thing. I can't connect with that. I need more, and yet at the same time, I also need a little less, because I'm also going to back off a little bit of the Adam story too. They're using him too much. Every week doesn't need to be the Adam show. And back to my list. The next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna mix up the couples. First up, Sharon and Nick, they're married. Sharon and Nick get back together. You can take some time with the story, that's fine. But we need to get Nick and Sharon married right now and forever. They need to be the next Nikki and Victor. I mean, we have to cultivate some long-term, stable couples on this show. And it's really hard to believe that anyone has true love. It's really hard to believe any of these true love stories when none of them last longer than a couple of months. Nick can continue on being the nice guy philanthropist, but I want to see Sharon stable, and I want to see Sharon become a psychiatrist. The show needs a regular staff psychiatrist. They're all crazy, and they've gone to the trouble of giving Sharon the degree. She has the training. Make Sharon a psychologist. It's great for exposition. These people will be able to come in, talk to her about their problems. She can offer advice. It gives credence to her character, and it helps other characters. Speaking of the couples, I want Phyllis and Jack together. I want Michael and Lauren together, and I want them to be like a BFF foursome. I want them to do cool things, have little parties, dress up, mix it around, mix it up as you will. If Y&R wants to bring back Mia, bonus points, because I think that would be so cool to let Mia rival Phyllis, maybe even for Jack's heart. I would switch Mia for, I'd rather have Mia back than Celeste. Mia was way interesting. She had the whole makeup and hair thing going on. I think they made a complete mistake by cutting that character. I also want to keep Theo. I like Summer, Kyle, Lola, and Theo. I think they make a fine foursome. They're a great little foursome for that age group. I want to see Theo get awesome again, and then you can kind of mix the couples around from there. Summer, Theo, Kyle, Lola. I want to see Tracy embracing her feelings for Kane, and please don't think that I didn't notice Tracy at the Bachelor-Bachelorette party alone when she could have been there with Kane as a date or as friends. We're just supposed to forget about Tracy and Kane. But I didn't forget. I was thinking Tracy looked really nice, and it would have been really nice for her to have a handsome man on her arm. Oh no, the viewers apparently can't handle that. Why is it that Y&R was listening to, why do they listen to viewers sometimes on some things and then never at all on others? I want Devon and Abby to be together. I'm getting rid of Elena and Nate. They're boring. They're not doing anything. Abby and Devon already have history that have been teased. I don't know why Y&R didn't just put them together instead of bringing on Nate. We don't need him. I want to see Abby being more outrageous and fun and funny and quirky, and Devon can balance her out. They're the couple. Speaking of cutting, I'm getting rid of Chelsea too. Sorry, Chelsea. We can bring you back later, but right now you got no place on this canvas. You're not doing anything. You're not offering anything. Chelsea can come back later when Adam has been reformed, and she can be the one to con him. How about that? We can see Adam get his heart broken a little bit, and then we'll want him to have a romantic relationship. Other people I'm cutting, I don't want to see any more Chloe and Kevin if all they're ever going to do is talk about Delia. I will keep Kevin if Y&R will bring back Gloria as more than just a part-time receptionist. Make her rich. Give her something to do. Like, Y&R made Chloe crazy. I'm done with it. If Chloe's gonna be crazy, I don't care. And I'm fine with Kevin. Kevin's fine. He's quirky. He's fine. But I really want Kevin and Gloria and Michael, and I want to see those Baldwins. I think we need Gloria. I think we need more older women on the show. We need to represent the generations. And that's a way to represent classic soap angles and storytelling too. Billy and Victoria can stay together, fine, but they need something fun to do. Both Billy and Victoria have been too miserable for too long. They can open a brothel for all I freaking care. Just whatever they do, let it be fun and let it not be about death or ghosts. Victoria was seeing JT's ghost last year, and now Billy is seeing Delia's ghost this year. No, thank you. I want some new venues. It doesn't all have to be restaurants. I want to see this Grand Phoenix Hotel, and now that you mention it, I'd rather see Nikki running it than anyone else. I want some performance spaces that bring the community together. I liked the movie theater. I liked the opera, stuff like that. My big idea is that I think someone should open a live theater, like direct a play. Maybe Mariah decides to open up a live theater and start directing plays. She can cast some younger performers, some older performers. She can bring in members of the community to act. We could show them rehearsing. We could show an opening night. It could be a running theme. It would be great. The actors would love that. They're actors. I just think that Tracy writing her book really worked at times, like seeing her in her creative process. And I think it would be cool to use that performance space to show another type of creative process. They can have people, they can use it for other things besides live theater, do a stand-up act, do a musical act. I mean, it's a way to incorporate other types of entertainment into the show. And basically, it's the Genoa City Community Theater. It brings the community together, whether they're in the play or whether they're performing or they're just in the audience watching. I think that would be amazing. Other ideas. Spring is coming up. How about a disaster? We haven't had one in a while. I've watched The Wizard of Oz twice lately, and my very favorite scene in that whole movie, it's crazy, but I love the tornado. I love, before they even get to color, I love everything that they did with the blowing winds and the tornado in the background. They did some really great effects where, like, Dorothy goes to open the door and the door flies away. And I read that the tornado was actually, I think, like a muslin stocking that they literally were just swirling around in the background. I don't know how exactly they created the effect, but it looked so cool. And I thought, well, why couldn't Y&R do a tornado or something? We're in the Midwest. I mean, that's our big affliction here. Do a tornado, rip some stuff up, and then show the community rebuilding it. Only you don't just have to do a quickie rebuild. You could actually show people coming together, rebuilding a building, and show the stages of it. Like, let it play out over the course of 3 or 4 weeks. Show us how the place is actually evolving. Show some people grabbing some hammers, putting on some paint, and let the viewers experience a set being built. Speaking of more sets, bring back our gym or a steam room or an indoor pool. Let's get some shirts off. And then bring back our charity events. Let these people get dressed up. I would like to see, like, Nikki or somebody host a yearly charity event that we know is coming, or a Halloween event, something. Let's get an event that we know is coming And then everybody looks forward all week, all year. Like I think General Hospital has a nurses ball or something like that. We need a regular ball. I don't know if maybe Y&R is afraid to rip off of other soaps or what, but let Nikki host some kind of yearly spring event that we always know is coming, and we look forward to seeing that fashion. You know I love the holidays too. I really want to feel the holidays on Y&R, so I hope that they do Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. How about something like, I know this is crazy, but what if Y&R did like an animal shelter or a pet shop or something like that? Animals are notoriously hard to work with, but you could build a cool little set. Let somebody run it. I don't know, somebody cute could run it and have the front end look like a pet shop. People love their pets. And then you could just bring in animals just occasionally, like once a month, bring in a bunny and show it, or a dog or something. I know it's probably hard to do that, but I think it could be done and it could be different. People want to connect with the show, and we love pets, and CBS has a connection to, for instance, I think it's CPSA or IA, or I'm not sure exactly which one it is, but, you know, Bob Barker and The Price is Right and all of their get your pet spayed or neutered. You know, I mean, I think they could do something to raise awareness for animals and show us some cute little pets. I think that would be fun. I mean, it doesn't have to last forever, but we could get a year out of that. Or what about an antique store with a tea room? You can incorporate some actual old Y&R props. I mean, how amazing would that be? Or even like a garage sale. Do something to show us some of our old items. You could bring in Esther or Gloria to run an antique shop and have people browsing through it and picking up an old bauble, like the reliquary, or like, I don't know, some other little tchotchkes from other sets from the past where someone could pick it up, look at it, and then we get a flashback. Is that brilliant or what? Hold on, I've got more. This is my space, damn it. How about a sweets shop, like a little bakery or an ice cream shop? Lola could branch out into desserts. I want to see Lola having her successful career. Y&R had it right when they had her food truck and her desire to expand that food truck. I don't know why they made her go behind the scenes and be a chef at Abby's restaurant. She had her own career. I like seeing young people deciding to start something and going for it and using their ingenuity to build something. So I like seeing successful careers, especially with young people. I like seeing business rivalries. I think you can't go wrong with a business storyline. I like seeing our dysfunctional families contrasted with our functional families. I want to feel like these people belong to each other, and I want to see them screwing each other over but then coming together. I want believable love stories that last longer than a few months. I think Y&R needs to come up with some stories that incorporate current events. I mean, for crying out loud, just look on the internet. There's a ton of inspiration for real life crazy crap that people get themselves into that would be perfect for the pickings of a soap opera. Fold in some tech news to keep it current, do some real world scenarios, whatever it is that Y&R does. I want them to start a story, I want them to commit to it, and I want them to finish it. I don't want them to tease things that never come to fruition. I don't want them to screen test things and then listen to how the fans are going to react to it and then decide what they're going to do. Just do it. You're the writer. Be bold. Give us something. Take the leap. But most of all, you can't forget the history of the show. You can't forget the history of the characters. You have to make us empathize with every single character, whether they're good or bad. You need to make these people feel so real that we can't help it. And then whatever situation you decide to toss them into to give yourself a plot, then we're going to empathize with them because we know them, and we're going to be tuning in every single day to either root for or against them. I know you can do it, Y&R. I know you can bring the show to be great. Miracles can happen when you share a common cause. And we all have a common cause of loving Y&R and wanting it to succeed. Well, that was our quote from last week. Wasn't it clever how I incorporated that? Miracles can happen when you share a common cause. The answer from last week's Who Said It was Victoria. She was saying that to Nick about her partnership with Phyllis. I really didn't expect as many people to guess that as did. So big ups to Julie, Anna, Keisha, Sandra, Henry, Ambreen, Gator Tom, and Diana. This one might be a little bit easier, but I thought it was a nice little line and a good moment. Who said this? Do good, get good in return. That's a very simple little philosophy, but I kind of love it. Do good, get good in return. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. All right, finally, enough of my yakking. Let's get to your comments. Starting out with Nick and Adam and the whole custody of the kids situation, which I think is the second most exhausting story on the show right now. The first being Billy as my #1 least favorite, and this is right behind. It's just exhausting. Kiki says, I don't think that Adam should have been the one to tell Christian that he was his dad. I think Nick should have been the better man. He claims to be, and sat him down and had a hard conversation. The conversation of who his biological father is was always going to be a tough conversation, but it's one that would have needed to come out sooner or later. If Adam had been alive when the switch of Christian was revealed, I think Adam would have wanted him from the start. Okay, Kiki, hang on. So if Adam had been alive when the switch of Christian was revealed, I think Adam would have wanted him from the start. Okay, so you mean when he realized that the baby wasn't just going to be raised by Sage, that he would have wanted him. I don't know. It never sat well with me that Adam switched those paternity test results. And so I think that if we're going to tell Christian that Adam is his father, then I vote let's tell Christian the whole story. That Adam wasn't a victim of losing his son, that he was the perpetrator. And I don't think that Y&R has done enough to have Adam explain any of that. I mean, the fans have mentioned it. The fans are explaining it many weeks, many times. I've seen that comment a lot. But we really haven't had Adam talking about his motives on why he switched those paternity test results. And I think that's needed. Daisy says, I think Nick should ask the nanny to give a sworn statement to the court that she witnessed Adam telling Christian that he's his real father, not caring how harmful it could be to the child. I think Adam's supposed devotion to Sharon is to reel her in, to make it appear to the court that he has a family unit for the children. And Chelsea is too savvy for him to manipulate. I don't think Adam actually loves Sharon, though. Does he even know what Sharon did to Sage? Adam might not care, but the court might. Ooh, Daisy, well, I'm so glad I was able to get my Facebook messages back. Yay, because, I mean, this is great because you make some of the best comments. Does Adam know what Sharon did to Sage? I don't think so. Y&R never mentions Sage, and Sage was at the heart of all of this. I mean, Christian was her son with Adam, so yeah. I have no idea. I mean, we need to see Adam putting together some more pieces on the things that happened while he was dead. And it would help be a refresher for me too. I mean, if you are gonna, this is the thing, if the writers are gonna dig into old storylines and recycle them for today, then they at least really need to make clear all of the details that were going on at the time that the storyline was originally on the front burner. It's just too much to remember. Well, Shakona says, Adam is addicted to drama. He craves it so much that I'm starting to think that he's an unfit father and shouldn't even be allowed around Connor. I was rooting for him until he pulled that stunt at the park. I don't mind him provoking Nick, but when he decided to drag Christian into it, he hit an all-time low. And yes, I screamed at Sharon through my TV. Her behavior drives me nuts. It's like all logic goes out the window when it comes to Adam. It's funny, Shakona, because that's the exact argument that Mariah was making with Sharon. It's like he has some kind of spell on you. And I think Billy was saying that to Sharon this week too. It's odd that Billy is feeling so compelled to talk to Sharon when Sharon is the closest person to Adam right now. It's all servicing to put Sharon right into the middle of this whole mess when somebody tries to kill Adam. I think anyway. Gary says, Y&R needs their plot, but fans don't want to see Sharon dumbed down. With all she's accomplished and the wisdom she's learned along the way, Y&R needs to tread carefully. Do chatters remember how unpopular the character of Sharon has been in recent years given past mistakes? And how hard Y&R worked to take the time to redeem her? Again, I think the downfall of Sharon is something the audience really doesn't want to see. Think twice before destroying Sharon once again. Not that they're exactly doing this with the new twist, but I totally agree. And I do remember how fans were really not liking Sharon when she was, off, unhinged. I mean, the whole bipolar thing, that was a dark period for Sharon. And it was right around the time, I think, that she was with Adam. The thing is, I wish Adam and Sharon were coming from some kind of a healthy place. It just feels like Adam drags Sharon down every time they're together. And I agree with Gary that the writers really need to tread carefully with Sharon because she is a long-term character. I don't see her going anywhere. She's probably on this show for life, as I would like it to be. And I prefer to at least be able to respect her a little bit. I mean, she has this new education now, she's a mom, everything was going so well with her life, and I personally hate to see her making decisions that take her into a step backward. And it seemed almost like Sharon felt that she was taking a step backward by being with Adam. I mean, right after they made love or had sex, Sharon was arguing with Adam and saying, I've come a long way, I got my degree. She actually said that to Adam in the aftermath, where he's trying to convince her that they're right for each other, and she's saying, no, I can't do this, I got my degree. I don't know what one had to do with the other, except that Sharon must feel on some level that being with Adam is somehow a de-evolution of the things that she's worked so hard to accomplish with herself personally. And that's how I feel as a fan too. Although I'm not saying it's not hot. Maria K says, this was a sizzling week for Shaddam. I just hope it's not short-lived. In other exciting news, Mary Kay says, I asked the actor Mark Grossman, who plays Adam, on Instagram if Sharon was being used by Adam or if he still has lingering feelings toward her, and his response was, Adam will always love Sharon. Made my week. Oh, wow. I love that the actors interact with the fans. That is very cool that he responded to you, Maria Kay. So he said Adam will always love Sharon. And I agree. I mean, I think no matter what, I could agree with that statement. Adam will always love Sharon. I'm just not buying that Sharon's the love of his life and it was always Sharon and only Sharon, and those are the words he's saying. And I need more than sex. I just do. It was hot, but I need more. Diana says, good thing Sharon put on her sexy hot pink lingerie under that gray dress before she went to see Adam. She also looks like she's been tanning. Adam and Sharon are very hot together. I liked Sharon very much with Ray and would have liked to have seen them last a little while longer before pairing her with Adam. I have to say now that we're here with these two characters, I'm loving it. Sharon Case is so beautiful. I noticed her hot pink lingerie. She had hot pink lingerie for her hot pink sex with Adam. I don't know why I feel so personal. I feel like the Adam and Sharon thing feels so personal to me because I remember them originally, and it was a real distinct time in Y&R's history, and it was a story, them getting together, that was very divisive amongst the fans because Adam had stolen Sharon's baby, and the voice of many fans was, why would she ever get involved with him? And I'm sure it was probably Nick and Sharon fans who were saying that. But as a Nick and Sharon fan, I also felt the chemistry between Adam and Sharon, and I really loved their romance. And it hurt me in terms of the show when Y&R threw that away for the relationship with Adam and Chelsea. They seemed to prefer that, and they ran that route for a number of years. I mean, years. It was Adam and Chelsea, and it took me a long time, but I finally came around to liking Adam and Chelsea, and now I feel like Y&R's throwing that away, and now I'm just supposed to go back to Adam and Sharon just because? I mean, my old memories of them are not enough to fuel a new desire, and Y&R doesn't seem to really be playing too much on the old memories either. Oh. Ambrini says, I am not a huge Adam fan. I've only seen him being angry all the time with this new actor. But the makeout scene with Sharon, damn! It was too short. Mark is very good at looking at the right angles, and he has nice hair, and he's tall. Hey, I'm not saying that he's not attractive. Yes, he is. And the more I've gotten to know him and see him on screen, the more I do find him attractive. Maybe it's just me and I'm getting older in my life and I'm moving on. I want more than that eye candy. But that doesn't mean I don't appreciate the eye candy, for sure. Superplex says, Sharon wastes no time in moving on. I hope they make more of this than just Adam using Sharon to his own ends. I can envision true love blooming between the spawn of Satan and Miss Goody Two-Shoes. She can mellow him. Oh, I think Superplex that Y&R is planning to make more of it than him just using her. It seems to me that he is using her, but again, I think that's just a problem with the writing not connecting in with me. I think their intention is to make Adam and Sharon. That was always their intention from the moment they recast him. Y&R wants Adam and Sharon and Nick and Chelsea. So that's what these writers want, and that's what we're gonna be getting, whether it makes sense or not. Leslie says, I think Christine should cheat on Paul with Ray. Well, he is our new hot cop in town. We've had a number of hot cops, but it does bring up a good question for me of what does become of Ray in this new scenario, or even in my dream scenarios where I've put my couples where I want them. What becomes of Ray? Because I like him, and I like him as a hot cop. And I'm okay continuing to see him as a hot cop. But yeah, I mean, I could see Ray being focused on his career and not necessarily the ladies. But I do think that Christine would be a potential lady for him. I mean, I wonder if Y&R really wants to cultivate Paul and Christine as being a long-term couple on the show and really show them being happy. But, I mean, Christine's got this whole new career ahead of her, a whole new life ahead of her that we haven't even found out what it is yet. But maybe she will start working with Paul. Maybe she could have some more interactions with Ray. She does like a cop. She does like that disciplinarian type. So maybe Christine and Ray. Oh, Superplex says, Are we ever gonna find out who Adam was talking to while he was still in Vegas when he told the caller on the other end of the line that the plans have changed? I am presuming that it was Chance Chancellor, and if so, what were the plans? And if they changed, what did they change into? Is what Adam is doing now part of the change plans? And if so, what is the ultimate objective? Which logically would imply that the other partner in this conspiracy would have been entitled to the fruits of their labors. As another chatter recently brought up, are they simply dumping the whole matter of Riza, the queen of the Las Vegas scene, and the FBI investigation into her? Or are they starting to regard the whole matter of Riza and her connection to Adam's nefarious lifestyle in Vegas as a red herring and are hoping that the viewing public will forget it? Oh, Superplex. I think you hit it at the end. I think they are hoping that we forget it. I think Y&R just name dropped Chance. I think it was just all there to create some kind of illusion, some kind of something, and then they changed directions. Maybe they intended to bring on Chance. Maybe they intended to reveal this crap, and then they just decided midstream to switch it, the way they have decided to do that with many other storylines that I could list. It's a story that got started and not finished. Unless they are going to bring it back up next week, because we did see that preview. I mean, because that's the other thing, is I do wonder, is Y&R just slow to getting at their stories right now? Maybe these stories are not being dropped. Maybe they're just dragging them out. Because we had on Friday a preview of Adam marching into Victor's office and saying, well, I just got served with a restraining order. So is it possible that Victor's now stepping up to help Nick in this custody battle, and he's doing something to help get a restraining order for Nick against Adam, or him or Adam? And is it possible that Victor is going to be the one to reveal the Chance connection because he knows about it too? Maybe? Fingers crossed. Let's switch over to talking about Billy really quick. Jamie says, what if it's no gaslighting? What if there's no ghost Delia? What if Billy's just losing his marbles and the writing on the wall is himself? Or he's writing on the wall himself. Ugh, yeah, I mean, it's certainly a possibility. You know, one has to beware of the moose. And Billy is in full moose territory right now. Mary Ann says, I don't buy the Billy story unless Billy is having delusions. I don't think Kevin, Esther, Michael, or Chloe would want to bring up the Delia tragedy to hurt Billy just to get revenge on Adam. I can't see Adam wanting to dwell on this tragedy to hurt Billy. Billy hates Adam more than Adam dislikes Billy. Adam is more focused on his Newman siblings. However, it would be a twist if Billy was seeing things. I remember the movie A Beautiful Mind, where the lead character would see a person that was revealed to be a figment of his imagination. This story does not work well, since it was just 3 years ago that Billy painted the Chancellor Mansion, and then Jill had it repainted. Oh! Mary Ann, 3 years ago, Billy did that horrible remodel of the Chancellor Mansion, and then Jill had it restored. And we're supposed to believe that that writing was there all along. Oh, I can't believe you caught that little loophole. Good one. But, I mean, as far as what's going on with Billy, Tony says, I think it's Chloe. She said something to Billy before she left about Adam, watching him or staying away from him. She could be inciting Billy so that he will stop Adam now. I think Billy hurts, but realized that Adam's accident snowballed into hidden truths and deception. He will never get over the loss or really forgive Adam, but he knows it was an accident of sorts. But Chloe, she seriously blames Adam. So my guess is Chloe is inciting Billy to do something. I agree with that, Tony. That is my current guess. I know that, you know, it doesn't make sense for anybody who loves and cares about Billy to want to gaslight him, but Chloe is unhinged. We know she's coming back onto the show. I mean, she was wanting to kill Adam just a couple of months ago, and I mean, I know, I hate to say it, I know she had a lot of feelings for Billy, but it just is the most logical explanation to me. I don't know that they're gonna make Billy crazy over this. It's possible he's doing it to himself, but I don't know. Oh, I don't know why, but I'm leaning toward thinking that it's Chloe. Well, here's a fun and interesting little comment from Daisy. Daisy says, I still think that Theo sounds like a jealous ex. Aside from what looks like Kyle covering up Theo's hurting someone, maybe Theo and Kyle were together in New York, and Theo is still trying to hang on to a relationship that Kyle has already moved on from. Hence, Theo's obsession with Kyle maturing and evolving and being engaged to someone who's not him. Ooh, you know, that's not even the first time that I saw a comment about that this week, that Theo really is sort of acting like he is a jealous ex. Like maybe something happened between them in New York. I'm all for that. That would be fine with me. I don't think Y&R is going to do it though. I think they're going to stick with, I think it's going to be drugs, but that's my best guess. Well, it's interesting though that a couple people brought that up. Well, okay, let's dig in now to our poll question from last week, where I asked you guys to give the current Y&R writers a grade on their report card. The majority of voters, and this had a lot of votes, gave Y&R a solid D. Below average. Yeah, that was the majority vote. The second highest vote was a C, average. It was 61% gave them a D, 18% gave them a C. So there's a pretty big gap there. So yeah, all the other votes kind of fell with minority from that. The majority of people are feeling it's either average to below average, and I thought I would read out some of your comments about why. I actually got a lot of comments. I mean, this was a really highly voted in poll, and a lot of people who don't normally comment came in to weigh in on this one. So I'm going to try to give some props to people who don't normally comment. So it's nice to get some fresh opinions here. Jillian says, I gave the current writers a D. The show isn't so bad that it's become unwatchable. However, it is quite jarring to jump from the fast-paced show that Mal Young kept, where almost each episode was a new day and the stories were developed and concluded at a much faster rate. Yes, Jillian, I do agree. I think that it is definitely a change from Mal Young, no doubt about it, and the pacing is way different. And I think it was Gary who told me, or had mentioned an interview with Josh Griffith a few weeks or months ago, that he wanted to return the show to a Bill Bell style of writing. And honestly, Y&R used to be painfully slow. I mean, you could dip out for weeks on end and come back and you're still in the same story, you didn't miss a thing. And I think that with Mal Young, and in general with maybe modern storytelling, we got to a faster pace. You don't have that luxury. You're not going to keep viewers if you are just waffling around in the wind here. Like, you have to kind of keep a pace. And maybe we did get used to that with Mal, and now what we're seeing is just a different stylistically, and maybe it is just a hard adjustment. Diana says, I agree with you, Allie, about the writers bringing up some old storylines again that people don't want to see, and not creating their own new and evolved storylines. I also don't like that the writers start stories and don't follow through. Number 1, the Tracy and Kane romance. Number 2, Victoria and the guy from the band. 3, Mariah's stalker story. That being said, I like that Josh Griffith has brought back many characters old and new. 1, JT brought back from the past and redeemed. 2, Adam's return, which fans have been wanting. 3, Kevin and Chloe. 4, Chelsea and Connor and her mother. 5, more Michael and Lauren screen time. 6, Paul's returned and new storylines for Paul and Christine. 7, Theo. 8, the creation of the Rosales family. 8, I guess that would be 9, new sets. Based on these pros, Diana says, I gave the writers a B. Maybe I'm being too nice, but I enjoy the show too much to give it any less. Well, I know I do agree, and I don't want to take away from the good things that they have done. See, I don't think they did very good with the Rosales family at all. The Rosales family was Mal Young. Mal created the Rosales family. Josh got rid of Arturo and Mia. Kept Ray and Lola and maybe bringing on Celeste. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I wanted to see some more Michael and Lauren, and we're getting more of that with Josh than we did with Mal. And yeah, I mean, Josh brought back Adam. Josh has done some good stuff. He brought back Paul and Christine. I think they're trying to give the fans what they're asking for. I just wonder if maybe the fans don't really know what they want. And that includes me. Christy says, hey, Allie, this is my first time commenting, and I felt the need to pop onto the website and express my frustration with Y&R right now. I have never felt more disconnected from the show than I do at this moment. It feels like not a single character is acting within character. I don't ship any couple except Tracy and Kane, rip. And the fact that either nothing happens on a daily basis or they retread old storylines is exhausting. I fast forward through more episodes than I watch. Your podcast is what's keeping me going during this dark time. Thank you for all that you do. Exhausting is the right word for this, no doubt about it. I tell you, I think I would be doing some fast forwarding too if I could. I got a lot of people commenting on how much and what they fast forward on Y&R. Melissa says she fast forwards a lot of stories too. And Melissa also made an interesting point that made me feel better about what I was kind of complaining about last week, like that I'm stuck here watching every single frame of Y&R, rain or shine, good or bad, and then recapping it. And I'm doing that though so that others have the opportunity to fast forward. That's really true. I mean, I imagine that a lot of people who don't watch the show in entirety and then just listen to or watch Y&R Chat for the recap. So that's okay with me. That's how I need to look at it. Like, I'm recapping so that other people can get that quick synopsis. Melissa is a hospice nurse, by the way. We were talking last week about EMTs and just what a hard job that would be. And Melissa, I didn't know you were a hospice nurse. That has got to be one of the hardest jobs in the world. That is such a special line of work, and that must make you such a special person. And so I have to say thank you for what you do so that I don't have to. See, we're reciprocating. I'm suffering through watching Y&R to give you the recap, and you're suffering through some way more heavy stuff so that I don't have to because I'm not cut out for it. Colleen says, last week they had this lovely scene where Devon and Elena gave Devon gave Elena a first edition autographed copy of the novel Sula. The author of Sula, Toni Morrison, died a few days after the episode aired. It was like an unplanned tribute. What bizarre timing. Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, thank you for saying that. I don't think I ever would have noticed that. Wow. Well, back to our grades. Gator Tom says, I gave the writers a B. B is for better than before. I think this team needs 6 to 8 months to fix the show from what Mal did to it. Oh, good. See, I like getting the lighter side of things. A good solid B. I want to hear from the B's and the A's. I don't want to be the only complainer. But I did look up Mal's when Josh took over. So Mal Young was out in December, but Josh Griffith took over the executive producing role in February. He wasn't credited though as the head writer until April. So that's 4 months that he's been the head writer, and Gator Tom wants to give him 6 to 8 months to fix the show. Boy, 6 to 8 months is pretty generous. You're tolerant. I think maybe you're more tolerant of me, because I've just been grumpy for like 2 months now, probably about since they brought Adam back. It's been building in me, this dissatisfaction. I don't know that I mean 6 to 8 months, I don't know. Okay, fine, I'll give him another 4 months and we'll see where we are then. Valerie says, I cast my vote on how the current Y&R writers are doing thus far, and I simply give them a D. Don't get me wrong, I am still loving this cast, Although don't blink and you'll miss one. Here today, gone tomorrow. There's so much potential for having great storylines, especially for these great cast members, just as long as the stories are fast and furious, not slow and drawn out, or having the reappearance of the dreadful past. The summer is slowly coming to an end. At this point, we should have been holding on for dear life. Yet, by far, Y&R is my favorite soap to date. Oh, indeed. I mean, I'm sure all of these are coming from a place of love. We all love Y&R and we want it to be great. Lynn4283 says, I voted and I said I give the current writers an F. Seriously though, as much as I love Adam, he is on way too much of the show and it's becoming the Adam Newman show. Other characters are pushed to the side and are not on as much but once a week. Yep, I know, I agree. We need to pull back on Y&R. That's one of my notes too. Oh, well, Robbie, this is a good comment. Robbie says, I gave them a D, but I kind of think the fans are somewhat at fault too. We had Mal Young, who tried to freshen up the show with different storylines like the JT stuff, Dark Horse, Dina's Alzheimer's, and the creation of new characters like the Rosales family, Carrie, etc. But the fans hated it. I bet that during that fan survey that went out, fans complained and wanted nothing but the old stuff. I think the writers that we have now overcorrected and just inserted all of the old characters to rehash old storylines. And now we're stuck with Delia's death, Evil Adam, and the reunions of Shaddam and Nick and Chelsea. Don't get me wrong. I definitely blame the writers, but I think the fans are somewhat at fault for how bad they treated the previous direction of the show. Robbie, this is such a well-balanced, wonderful comment. I mean, first of all, I liked some of the stories that Mal had done, but I think pacing became an issue at the end, which is what made me grumpy with Mal toward the end. But I mean, the things that he did introduce onto the show were very good. But you make a really good point that they did that survey. I mean, that's unusual. So they sent out this survey to find out exactly what the fans wanted so they could not screw it up. And then they probably did overcorrect and just go, okay, well, they obviously like the old stuff, so let's just do that and be safe for a while. And now here we are in safe territory with slow stories and people aren't happy about it, or Y&R chatters at least. But yeah, I'll accept that. I'll accept some of the blame for that because I'm sure I voted for old in that poll too. I wanted old characters, but not old stories. I guess I should have been more clear. Well, let's end on an up note with Justin. Justin says, apparently I'm in the minority, but I give the writing an A+. When Mal Young was the head writer, the show was overly plot driven to the point where sometimes it was incoherent. Some stories did not have a conclusive or a feasible end. Mal also got rid of Paul Williams, which was totally unexcusable. With Josh Griffith, the show's more realistic. I like how each episode normally progresses into the next instead of each episode ending on a huge plot twist. To be honest, the show could not have been any worse than Mal Young. See, I think my least favorite era was Jill Farron Phelps. That was my worst Y&R. Mal was better for me than Jill, but I agree he was very plot driven. It seems like the new people, Josh and his team, treat the actors a little better too, because you mentioned Doug Davidson, and I think a lot of the people behind the scenes maybe didn't like Mal. So I give them props for that. They have really cultivated some wonderful talent, and they've brought back some of our legacy characters, and that's important to me. By the way, I want more Jill. I forgot to mention that. Did I say that? I want more Jill. On as many episodes as she will agree to, I want Jill. And they have given us some of that too. So these writers have given us some pros, but I can't ignore the cons. I think we need to find a balance somewhere in the middle. Balance, karma. Okay, everybody, on that note, I'm gonna get my balance on out of here. I hope everybody had a really good week and feels free to let these comments fly. Go to yrchat.com. Tell me how you're feeling about Adam and Sharon. Tell me what you would do to fix Y&R right now if you voted that you thought it was below average or fail. So we've given our complaints. Let's follow it up. We'll give it some ways to fix it. Go to yrchat.com, leave those comments, and come back next week, and I will let you guys know what everybody said. Okay. I love you. Have a good one.